Welcome to The Barber Show. The Barber Show is an inspirational, motivational, and educational talk show that comes to your screens, on your TV screens, through Isibo TV every Sunday from 7 p.m. or even your YouTube connection. We are your YouTube connection for content that will motivate you or inspire you or teach you something. And we aim to connect our experiences, our knowledge from different walks of life, from different people's experiences, and learn and be better. When you know better, you do better. So this is why we're here, and we appreciate you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your reviews, your feedback, your messages, your DMs. I really, really appreciate them, and I thank you. Like I always say, we are here to learn. And for this episode, we are not far from that. We are also here to learn something. Last year, the whole world, not even last year, I think 2019, since 2019, the whole world was attacked by the coronavirus. No one was ready, and no one knew what would come out of it. When it came close to home, in Rwanda and in African countries, well, it's all over the place, but when it came here, reports have shown that children, especially girls, have been very vulnerable with the measures that have been put in place, the lockdowns, the curfews. Children, young girls who've been locked down in families that have been abusive have come out of this experience, teenage mothers, traumatized, raped, abused in different ways. Not even just children, even women, young women. So this whole pandemic has affected our lives, starting from our family lives. And when I came across, or when I had this conversation with my next guest, I knew we had to talk about this here on The Barber Show. Allow me to welcome Madam Hope Azeda. Hope Azeda is the Artistic Director of Mashirika Creative Arts, and she's one of the leading figures in contemporary Rwandan theater. We have known her in that context, but Hope has a burden that is beyond that, but one that touches the lives of young women, young girls. Welcome, Hope.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for accepting me in your space.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tell me about Batete.
Well, Batete is an ancestral pilot project we are trying to work on with an aim of, creating a safe space for young girls, like you've talked about. They're the most vulnerable between the age of 15 and 18. And we've been using art over about 20 years as a company, Mashirika, and then at Ubumunu, that's all we promote. But this time around, I felt like we should really now create a space that just focuses on these girls. Because one, this is an age group that has been hit most.
Oh, yes.
And homes have become like street, what will become like a street. It's no longer a home. It's not called a home anymore, and it has lost its definition as a home. So Batete is going to really be focusing on that, focusing on these girls using art to unlock the kind of conversations that are choking them. But most importantly, we're going to be using our methodology called Scars of Soul. So Batete in English is being affection, and this is what they have lost. The very people that should be, giving them this love, letting them be children, are the very people that have abused them, or are the same environments. So Batete is basically, that is what the project is going to be about. One, can these girls reclaim that child that they've lost? The Batete-ness in them, can it be brought back? That is what we want to
So you are offering them a space to breathe, to be children again.
To be children again, and tap on that child. Exactly, bring back that child. Because once that child walks out of a child, they become adults. They have adult emotions. And even if you give them scholarships, even if you give them magic of magics to move on, before that child comes back and trust, and gain trust and have a sense of belonging, they will not be innovative. They will not be creative. They will be wounded souls.
Yes.
And once wounded, you live to wound.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are trying to see, can we bring back this child? And we know art can create this, because we have like a series of different things that will be taking them through.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what really Batete is about. So we are going to have about 7 girls in a house for a month, and we'll take them through a healing arts journey. We'll be using arts for healing. And at the end of the day, we want them to laugh, we want them to trust, but most importantly, we want them to know that they're not alone. They're not alone. And this is what the good thing about just talking out, speaking out. Once you speak out, then you know that your neighbor has a similar story. And then you find that your story is our story.
Wow. Oh, now, okay. I'm going to go off script because so many things are going through my mind. What am I saying? You have had so many years in the art industry. And I would like to believe, or I believe, that art has healed you or has grown you. Do you want to empower these girls through your journey as well? What does that look like?
Well, once we have this encounter together.
Yes.
Because personally, art has been an encounter, and so is life.
Yes.
So whatever comes to my heart, I give it back to the world.
Yes.
From my heart. So
Yes.
art comes to me, and the stories that come to me, I receive them as gifts, and I give them back to the world as a gift.
Wow.
Why? Because I feel like they should have a platform, they should have a voice. They should not be buried stories. Once you bury a story, you've also buried its soul, and you want to bring soul back to life. You know, like these, the wounded souls should really be able to, you know, heal and move on. So art has helped me as an artist. Art has helped us as artists. I see the artists I work with, and this space helps us cry, we breathe, we laugh, we play. And it's a space that helps you and accepts your mistakes, because that's how we become creative. You're not worried about mistakes. It is through mistakes that we learn to be, we create works. So yeah, we want these girls to be empowered with first, to know that, you know, this wound can be healed, and this wound can be scratched. It's going to hurt, but through hurting, through its bleeding is the beginning of the healing journey.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. I feel like coming.
Yes, you're welcome.
I feel like coming for that experience, but it's beautiful. Yeah. So what is your expected result after the month that they will be in that house?
We want them to, first of all, to laugh, to smile, to know that there's another family out there waiting for them that has gone through the same experience. So the whole idea of their confidence has been affected. They can hardly even open their mouth and talk. They can hardly, in fact, this we call them the invisible girl. They're going to be visible. They're not going to be embarrassed about what they went through, because they're not the first ones. And they're going to know that that's not the end of their life. They are going to be empowered with confidence, number one. And they're also to be empowered with some economical skills that help them to help them, you know, what do I do now? What can I do? You know, because they're going to be doing a lot of also arts and crafts. They're going to be, we're bringing different mentors to help them, you know, also help them, give them like a career guidance of some sort. But most importantly, the girls are going to also are going to like go back to school.
Okay.
How do I start again? Or how do I continue?
Yes.
Because once you've been abused or raped, you feel like that's the end of your journey. No, that's actually the beginning of your journey. You've seen what the world is, but you can still stand taller than the world. And just, you know, move on. So they're going to really have this kind of confidence of just, you know, going back to school, regardless of what I've gone through, my life is in my journey. So that is the beginning. And if every girl can really have that confidence of knowing that, okay, there's a good mathematician in me, there's a good engineer in me, there's a good doctor in me, there's excellence in me, and that is the excellence I want to come out and grab. So that's what we're really pushing them for. Can we prepare them to go to school? And then thereafter, they're going to have also an outreach program of reaching out to other girls, other peers, and you know, just help other girls. So it's going to have a ripple effect. So that's what we really want to achieve, that because a candle can start with one matchstick, and then you can light many other candles. But at least we have to first light the candle.
Yes.
You have to have,
What are the ages? What's the age group?
Right now, the girls we are going to have in the house are going to be between 14 and 17 years old. Okay. And the old girls going back to school in October.
Okay. Do you have some teenage mothers in them?
There are three categories of girls.
Okay.
So the first category is that has been abused, they are victims of violence, but they never got pregnant, but they are wounded. Okay. And then we have teenage girls, and then we have already those girls, we have teenage pregnancies, those who are still pregnant. Girls,
okay.
You have girls who are still pregnant.
Okay.
And then you have also those that have already gotten children. They're already they're mothers. So those categories, we're going to start with the first category. It's easier for us and it's manageable for us because it's a pilot program, remember?
Yes.
So we don't want to go into other situations where we have to manage pregnancy in a house where we're going to be, we don't know, you know, we better handle with what we can deal with first, and then we'll go, our next phase after this pilot program, we are going to know how to deal with the other categories. But first, it's also a learning journey for us. We'd rather still first handle and work with the girls that have been abused, have been raped, but they're too silent about their circumstances, and we just want to open up that space. Yeah.
Sexual harassment of girls in Rwanda, the numbers are showing that this is really big and this is serious, and this is something we have to pay attention to. And I love that Batete is giving you are giving your contribution towards this. Do you see yourselves expanding to the whole country? Do you see yourself doing? It's still a pilot program, but do you see yourself doing bigger than what you're envisioning now? We
want to create a program or a methodology that is global. This sexual harassment during the lockdowns is not just unique to Rwanda. It's a global pandemic itself. It's also another. We need to pay attention to it as humans living in this space called the world. So we are going to start small, but we are going to go countrywide. And from countrywide, we can go regional-wise, but we can also go continental-wise, but we can also stretch further to the world. So we are going to start very small, but we hope to go across the country first before we go to the globe. But whatever we create right now, we are thinking the world. But we are starting from home first.
Yes.
So it's going to be a homegrown methodology that we can use, because we've been working with this kind of healing arts programs as a company.
Or before?
Yeah, before. But our focus was more, victims of domestic violence, so women, and but also genocide survivors. We've been working on. That's actually where it all started. Oh. Yeah. Can we deal with this wound? Because this is the most unimaginable experience someone can ever go through. How do you deal with someone who's mass raped? How do you deal with someone with these kind of wounds? Somebody whose emotions are just a little, they're very fragile. Yes. So it's through that journey that now we are like, this is a problem right here. We have young girls that have been affected, yet they are the leaders of tomorrow. What are we doing? And once a young person is affected to that level, they will never be creative in school. They never be critical thinkers, So how do we now,
How do we save them back?
How do we recall that child that they lost because they have a disconnection within? Yeah.
What long-term solutions do you think this program can offer, or what do you aim to bring long-term wise?
A society healed, because really a society injured, a human injured is a society injured. So you want a whole community. You don't want a community all full of wounded people or wounded mothers or wounded. How do we heal? So if society is broken, art can help heal it. but you have to start with individuals, because it all starts with me.
Yes.
Before I can even go out to my neighbor's house, am I complete? Like in every sense, am I okay? Yeah, all my chambers, are all my channels functioning really well, or I have some blocked channels that I need to unblock in my system, so that, you know, once these channels are open, then you can open to the world. But once there are channels that are blocked within, it will be hard for you to open to the rest of the world. So for me, I believe, and we believe, as we women who are really behind this, that this is what we need to work on. Because you cannot send someone to school who not just, they can be there physically present, but they're just spiritually absent.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We are with Hope Azeda. She's the artistic director of Mashirika Creative Arts, and we're talking about Project Batete. Batete, which means affection. Give them affection. And this is a project she's working on that gives young girls who've been abused in different ways, giving them a space to breathe, a space to find healing using art. They will be in a home for a whole month, and they're taking in girls from 14 to 17, but in different phases. We'll be back after this short break to hear what more they have in store. Welcome back to the Barber Show. Like I always tell you, it's my pleasure to always host you every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Isibo TV, on YouTube channel The Barber Show. If you have just found me there, please subscribe and please view the previous videos. I will appreciate that. We are talking with Hope Azeda, who is the artistic director of Mashirika Creative Arts, and she's talking to us about Project Batete, a project that is so sensitive and dear to all of us, by the way, dear to all of us, reaching out to young girls who've been abused in this time of the pandemic, and even moving forward, allowing them to find healing. She said it well. She said, a soul wounded is a society wounded. A soul healed is a society healed. And we're talking about Batete. Hope, for such a big endeavor, you need partnerships. Who are you partnering with for this?
First of all, we're just, it's like a branch from Ubuntu Arts Festival, because Ubuntu means being human. And yeah, so these are some of the humans we are dealing with, and being human. So right now we are trying to partner with, we are still talking, but people are really buying it well. We are partnering with National Children's Council. They are really, we are still talking and to see how this thing, because it's a very sensitive project as well. And our other partners is McNaught Foundation. It's a US non-government, US-based organization. And yeah, so far, we are dealing with also some other youth organizations, and to get us the girls, to scout the girls, because we really want to make sure that everyone, I know it's a very beautiful opportunity. I would wish every girl
to go through it.
But we want to really start in a very humble way. First of all, to first get to know what are we giving these girls, to you know, to program it well, to make sure that the curriculum is good, the program is running well, to know that, because I mean, you bring the girls in a house, that means you have them 24/7 around your clock, and it's like, what are they doing every minute of their lives, you know? So you need to be really, really, really careful with this. So I'm sure after this project, many people already, some organizations already, I know, are waiting, but we want to offer something when we're really confident that this is what works, this is what never works. So this is our time to what works and what does not work. Yeah.
So how can a girl take part in this residency, healing arts residency?
Well, in future we'll know. I think we can go on radio and just
Announce it.
and invite people.
So for now you are selecting.
Yeah, we are selecting from organizations that are already dealing on different levels.
They offer you the girls.
And we give them the kind of girls we are looking for.
Okay.
And yeah, so right now we are good. We are good. We have the 7 girls.
Yes.
And I can't wait to meet them, and you just kick off to play, just play
Wow.
with different things.
Wow.
Yeah,
I will host you back after the month and hear how the experience has been for the girls.
I'm really looking forward to what is going to be. Maybe some could be bored to come and, you know,
and share the experience.
And they share the experiences. And yeah, so during Batete project, besides what we're going to be taking them through, different workshops, different lectures, different exercises of healing, theater games, we're also going to be creating podcasts. So every girl is going to be having at least 3 podcasts.
Wow.
And this will be really shared to the people. And I think through that podcast, it will also be a very nice way of just to stop this. First of all, we just want this to stop, you know, to look at this girl as human. And a lockdown does not mean you have just some free product around. It's a human being. And homes should be homes. Because right now, these girls, I don't know what they define home to be. If home has become a place of pain, a place of hurt, a place of we just want to commit suicide, then it's no longer home. So what is the definition of home? You know?
Yeah. Wow. So take us through the flow of the residency. What are you going to be doing exactly?
So definitely they will kick off with the Scars of Soul workshop, which is a homegrown methodology I've developed myself over 21 years. And through these, we do different exercises. We have like intro programs which we call the bracelet that taps on thorns and roses. And thorns is what has really pricked in your life. I first share my thorns. You know, we are all vulnerable. We
all walk with thorns.
We all walk with thorns. So we talk about these thorns, and you know, we start unpacking just our thorns. What has pricked you that is you're having issues with? What is that? Then we also try. So really, thorns is where we tap on the tortures of pain, on the torture chamber of that pain you carry with, and we start like opening these doors slightly just by a simple exercise of a bracelet and thorns. And then from thorns, we just tap on also now on roses, because every thorn always blossoms into a rose. So roses are the most fun ones, is where we laugh, is where, when you see them talking about thorns, they're really like, the face starts opening. That's when the smile starts coming. Thorns, the face looks pricked, looks hurting. Look. So you start opening them like this, just like a way a rose opens up. So the soul also opens up. So we also start talking them through like hopes and dreams. What do you want to become? What is it you're looking forward to? Because we always believe all of us have a tomorrow. And what are we looking for? Fine, we have thorns that we carry. Then we have the roses. But what is it? So we start also unpacking that. And this is for me my most really, this space of thorns, roses, and abouts. We call them abouts, the hopes and dreams. And then from there, we start going then to the next phase of what we call iron balls. Iron balls is an imagination exercise of carrying a balloon that you keep blowing in. You blow air, and then the bigger it becomes, the heavier. So imagine it's not a balloon, but it's a metal balloon. And the metal, when the bigger it becomes, the heavier it becomes. But now, there are also, again, series of how you play with this ball, however big, you start blowing it. Sometimes you just blow it as a kid playing with a balloon, but then it becomes heavy. But when you start now blowing in, relating it to your own burden, that's when you start feeling the weight of your burden, And then we have to ask them questions. What do you want to do with this ball? Do you want to put it down? Now that you put it down, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to kick it? You want to burn it? And some people just, sometimes, in most cases, some people get stuck with it. And they get stuck with it and say, I don't know what to do with this. This is my mother who is suffering from cancer. And I love her. Her situation is a burden in my life, but it's what it is. So now when you start getting to that level where burdens have become part of our lives, we start looking for how do we not become slaves of this burden? How do we not depend on this burden? but it is part of our lives, because you can't do it if you can't do anything about it. How do you detach yourself so that you do not become a slave of this burden? Then now we're taking them again through another series of exercises called...
I told you I would like to come.
So you take them through another series of exercises called resisting the burden.
Oh, wow.
Now, how do you resist? Because in most cases, it always pulls you. How do you pull out, you know? How do you just like, you don't bend towards that force that is pulling? And sometimes you start with very simple exercises like making somebody lie on the floor and tell them, can you just rise without depending on the floor? If the floor is your burden, how do you rise to your feet? So that is also a playback kind of exercise. So once you start rising and the burden is the floor and you're leaving it on the floor, what is going in your head? And it's a very nice imagery kind of stuff that comes, physical stuff, physical exercises. Then now we start jumping into more deeper and deeper. Yeah, and you start molding. You're molding that weight, what was pulling you, and you start giving them images. So now again from there, it becomes really heavy now in the space. And now we want to play. So we start tapping on childhood memories. What is that you remember? That you want to learn? Then we mold them, like molding body. Then one becomes clay and another one becomes the potter, and then the potter molds the clay into the childhood dreams, and so it goes on and on and on. And then this will be followed by other more exercises called clay therapy that will be led by my other colleague called Viatel. And clay therapy is also an amazing journey. Clay therapy is that it also helps you visit your pain, but by molding clay. So you have clay, we bring clay, and you say, what is that anger that hurt you? What is that moment of anger? How did you feel? Can we mold that in clay? And then you start seeing people molding, sweating, but it goes with the breath exercises, because life is breath, and the rest is just meat, So we focus a lot on breath exercises, because through your breath exercising this, your life is healing. So most of them come with breath. So from clay, then you start going into breath exercise of laughter and just molding something funny out of clay with your hand as you breathe. So it goes on and on and on. And then from there, we start now creating poetry out of these kind of things. So my last one that I usually work with the kids, with people in this space, is letter writing. Can you write a letter to pain? If pain was, let's say, Jane.
Wow.
Can you write a letter to Jane? Or write a letter to pain? Dear pain, you've been with me too long. You come at 2:30 in the night. You've taken my food, I don't eat. You are caused by this. And so they start engaging a conversation with pain. With pain. And those letters create amazing music. And that music, or that poetry, or that art or visual arts they create, they see it, and it's a sense of relief. Yeah, I can give you like an example. So remember, like around after the genocide, like women who were creating, like with genocide widows were making peace baskets. They were hurting, but through hurting, they're making a beautiful something. So if you see the making of that basket, it has a pattern that comes here and goes out.
Yeah.
So from my soul to the world. From my soul to the world. And that journey of creating beauty of this gaseche basket that everyone is mesmerized with at once comes from a place. And that's why it is so beautiful, and it has, so that's a piece of art that has come from a place, especially. And once this artist sees this, there's some reward moment that they feel that there's a beauty in them that they have awakened by making a basket.
Yes.
It's the same with music, it's the same with poetry, it's the same with crafts, it's the same with the visuals, it's the same with the film. It's just like it's just like squeezing beauty out of your soul.
Yes.
Yeah, and that journey is healing.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've talked about therapy, and I understand that this is going to be very intense. it could also touch some traumas that the girls, it will touch traumas that the girls have. Do you have mental health experts on board to work with?
Yes, we have them. We already have therapists that will be coming also talk to the girls.
Yes.
And every morning they're going to be doing a lot of also dance exercises, more dance, like just to play, dance, just to let their bodies free from this bondage of, you know, being coiled in their cave. And so yeah, we have people like that coming on board.
That's wonderful. Have you met the girls who are coming on board?
No, not yet. I can't wait. I feel like I'm going to meet other daughters of mine, other sisters of mine, other relatives of mine, and I'm so looking forward to just having special moments with them. It's going to be a great journey, honestly.
Yeah.
And I know this because I've seen with art, even if it's just artists and we're just creating works that really like really touch our hearts and all that, we connect on stage, we become one voice. So these girls will just become one voice and they'll be more empowered than ever before. Yeah.
As we close this conversation, I'm thinking what you are offering is so big and it's so beautiful, but it's not something that all girls can take part in now. But there is a girl who is watching us right now, who has gone through that experience. And unfortunately, she won't be part of this group of 7 that you already have. What would you tell her?
That this is just a beginning. We are going to bring in more girls. This is going to be an ongoing program. And even after the 7 girls, we are done with them with 1 week, with 1 month, we are not like dropping them.
Oh, there is a continual...
Yeah, there's a some continuity program. And this is like, we are going to make a follow-up with them for the next 8 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I mean, you cannot just bring them in this special space and then like enough, 4 weeks, I'm done. No. So we are going to make a follow-up and they will be meeting like monthly. So there will be some follow-up program as well. And from this program, it is going to help us. We want many girls, but we just want to deal with few first.
And see how.
Yeah, and just mold the program properly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what would you tell the parents? A mother who is watching this, or an aunt who is watching this, who knows that there is a daughter, there is a niece who's been abused, and she knows this. What would you tell her?
Well, that she should be our spokesperson, because at the end of the day, really, this is not just about hope. And my daughter could be her daughter. That daughter could be anyone else's daughter. These are our children. It's not like Batete, it's Batete program, yes, but this is our call. Whatever she learns, whatever she has about this, these podcasts that are going to come out, they're going to really be very helpful. And we'll have some of these podcasts also on RBA radio programs. So at least there is that. At least we can offer to those who are not attending, there'll be something they can follow up on our social media, podcast programs, podcast series. They will know that these are the Batete series. And they are there for them to listen and to share.
Wow.
So all is not lost because you're not in the 7 girls.
Thank you. Thank you. I love that. I love that even those who are not taking part in this session or this 1 month coming soon, they'll have access to content and on RBA. That's going to be wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, Hope, thank you so much for coming over.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited. I feel excited. So it's wonderful. I think you're contributing to the wellness of the society, of the nation. It's a beautiful endeavor.
Thank you. We are a great team, and every woman on board is really passionate about this, and it's just amazing. I think it's really going to be amazing. My instinct tells me this is going to be an amazing journey.
It's going to be. Thank you for coming.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for following the Barbara Show. We are excited for what Batete program is going to do for our daughters, for our sisters, for our nieces.
Yeah.
And yes, we look forward to learn much more from this and to the growth of this whole program when it reaches the whole nation and we see our daughters finding healing in such a program. Thank you for following. Like I always say, every time before I close an episode, may God bless you.
Amen.
Wakoze gukurikira ikiganiro The Barbara Show. Nimba ukibonye kuri YouTube The Barbara Show, kora subscribe ujye ukomeza kubona amakuru n'ibindi biganiro byinshi bikomeza kuza. Nimba udukurikira kuri Facebook, nimba udukurikira kuri Instagram, tumeze udukurikire, turakwishimiye cyane. No kuri Twitter muzajya mukomeza kubona amakuru ndetse ntimukasibe kureba iki kiganiro ku Isibo TV. Turabashimiye rero ku mwanya wanyu mwaduhaye. Imana ibahe